Hello everyone, this is Maria with Bits and Bob's Boutique, and I'm going to show you how to steek your candy cardi today. I have used a ball of yarn and I have just used my tapestry needle to delineate between the stitches so you can see better what I'm doing. And I haven't even cut this off of my yarn ball. I just looped it up the top and then brought it back down so I can reuse that yarn later. This is just for demonstration purposes. It may make it easier for you at home when you're steeking if you've never steeked before. If you're nervous about steeking your cardigan, I recommend doing a swatch and then steeking your swatch. And then once you're comfortable with doing that, then switch over to your cardigan. So what we're using, let's see if I can get this to focus, is a size E hook. I think this is a 3mm hook or smaller. And this should work perfectly with any fingering weight yarn that you have used. I have used Knit Picks Lindy chain. It's a cotton and linen base that has been chain woven together. So it's quite sturdy, but it's really good for summer. It's got very nice drape. But you can also make this sweater in any fingering weight yarn, and it's going to steek exactly the same way. So first off, we're gonna make a slip knot. Loop it around your finger, and then take that tail and lay it back behind it. And you'll have a line going through your loop, and you just pick that loop up and pull it tight. Pull both strands tight, and there you go. You got yourself a slip knot on your crochet hook. Now, my crochet method, I learned from a left-handed person, so my crochet technique is a little weird. You crochet whatever works best for you. And let's get started. I'm going to sit down now. This camera is new to me, so bear with me. Okay. For our steeking, we had a stitch marker, and then we knit 3, and then we placed a stitch marker, and then we continued working around. Those 3 stitches that were between your stitch marker, those are your steek stitches. And I have delineated those in purple here. So you can see I have 1, 2, 3. Now the way that we're going to steek, we will be cutting in between this middle row. And I'm going to call these row 1, row 2, row 3, from left to right, okay? So going forward, this is row 1, this is row 2, this is row 3. We will be cutting the ladders of row 2. Okay. So I'm going to do the left or the right first because that's what my brain feels comfortable with. So what we're going to do is, you can see the edge of the work, and we need to secure that. And we're going to secure it in the middle of, in between row 2 and row 3. So you're going to scoop the bars in between row 2 and row 3. And here's my weird crocheting with, because I'm left-handed taught. And then I'm going to pull that through my slip stitch. So I made a loop, and then I pulled it through my slip stitch, and then I pull it tight. So that's just to secure it. From this point forward, what we are going to do is we are going to pick up the left leg of row 3 and the right leg of row 2. So all of the stitches, you have a loop. And in that loop, you have a right loop and a left loop. See? Right loop, left loop. So to start, you're going to find that very first stitch. We don't want to miss a stitch because we are steeking, and we are going to stab that loop, and we're going to pick up that left leg. Then we're going to come over to row 2, which is in the middle, and stab that right leg. Stab through it and pick up that right leg. So see, I have 3 stitches on my loop, and then, or on my, on my needle. Then I'm going to yarn over, and I'm going to pull through all through 3 stitches. And you see, I have myself a loop there. That is a secured slip stitch with crochet. And then I'm going to go and pick up that next one. And it's quite small, and it might be a little hard to see because you're working in the same color. You can work in a different color if you want, but it might be noticeable, and then you'll need to use ribbon tape in the end to hide it. So I'm sorry, I haven't crocheted in a while. Okay, so make sure that your yarn is behind your hook. And then you're gonna pick up that left leg and then the right leg, and then you're going to pull yarn over and pull it through all three. And as you can see, it's a bit fiddly. Take your time. Just think of all the time that you saved while you were knitting in the round instead of back and forth. And you can knit back and forth with this pattern as well. It's very conducive to both. So as you can see, I have these secure stitchings right here. So now I'm going to do this again, yarn in back, and then I'm going to stab that stitch, that third row, left leg, and scoop up through the second row, right leg, yarn over and pull through. And as you can see, I'm getting a nice row here, so I'm going to take my crochet hook out so you can see what I have going on here. So as you can see, I have a nice crochet edge right there. It looks just like the loops of knitting. It's just raised. So it also, what this is doing for us, it's really delineating these ladders here so that when we go to steek, it's going to be really, really easy to see. And we're gonna do this on both sides. So I'm going to experiment with time lapse and see if I can get these to speed up for us so that you don't have to watch it in slow-mo all the way through. As you can see, even I'm having a little bit of a difficulty picking these up. The other option is if you don't want to do a crochet reinforced edge, you can just zigzag stitch over this left and right bar on row 2 and 3 and then cut up the middle with any kind of cotton thread on your sewing machine, which is what I do for my tank tops and stuff. I prefer to just zigzag stitch on the sewing machine, but because this is a cardigan and this edge is going to be showing potentially if you don't want to sew on a ribbon. Basically this pattern is so that if you don't have a sewing machine, you don't have the sewing skills, and you just don't want to, this is a very easy way to steek without having a sewing machine. You can also sew a zigzag stitch by hand if you want. You could use a tapestry needle. It's really just all about securing these left and right rows on the other side. That way your work doesn't come raveled when you go to wear it, or wash it for that matter. And the reason you want to wash and block before you steek is because it's going to line all your stitches up nice and neat so that you can see what you're doing. And then you can steam block it, or you can wash it again when you are done steeking and you are ready to wear it. That is completely up to you. The button band will be a little wonky, so I recommend at least steam blocking or ironing it on the steam setting. Not too hot. You don't want to burn your cotton linen. It is a delicate yarn. As you can see here, this is a little fiddly, but fairly simple, fairly straightforward. I know steeking seems really mysterious. It's not. Seems scary to cut your knitting, but it's fabric, and we cut fabric all the time. So as long as you reinforce it, you'll be fine. And here, if I can't see what I'm doing, I just lean all of my stuff forward. See my crochet edge. Nice and neat. Pull it tight. And then we're going to do that same thing up this left side, and then you'll see these ladders here will be nice and delineated, and then you just take your scissors and you just cut right up that middle, and that's steeked. And then when you go to add your button band, after you're done steeking and you've cut, you'll have this will be exactly the way it is. It'll just curl a little. So when you go to pick up your button band, pick up to the left of where this tapestry thread has been threaded through, the purple thread. So your first set of knit stitches is where you're going to pick up your stitches along the edge to do your collar and button band all the way around. And that is it. So I'm not going to cut the yarn in this, I'm not going to cut my sweater in this video. So I will make another one. This is just to show you how to do the crochet stitch. I'm going to make another small video cutting, and I will show you both sides of the crochet. So you're going to do this on both sides first before you cut. Don't cut until after you've done crochet on both sides to reinforce the edge. All right, everyone. Good luck. If you have questions, let me know. Also, watch the other video. I highly recommend it. It'll give you the finishing setup for steeking.